Michael, a Mercedes guy here. We're going to do a bench test of a radio. Now, of course, we need a couple of speakers, especially if it's a stereo, or antenna, which a piece of welding rod will suffice for, or battery. And you want to really be careful here. On my jumpers, I've got a knot for the positive. Okay? Now, it's always a good idea to go online and just make sure what is, what is available out there. Because sometimes there's a ground wire out of a radio. You don't want to confuse that with the positive. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is test these speakers. Use a little small pen-like battery, and you can't damage it. That's what you'll get. Now, another test for speakers, if you can access the cone, and that is to very carefully push on the cone in and out. If it's smooth, great. If it feels like there's sand in there, you aren't going to get a good sound. That means that there is some kind of dirt or metallic or something in that cone. So get another speaker. So anyway, we'll test both our speakers here. And it doesn't matter positive, negative on this. So we're good. Now, we're going to hook this up and do a test. Now, there are various connectors. Some of them are round pins, close together. The real old ones are round pins further apart. This is early 80s type of connector. And there we go. And don't be forcing this stuff. If it doesn't go in easy, don't put it in. Okay, then we've already deduced that that's the positive. Here's our antenna, and we just need it to go in that little hole right there. That's down deep in that jack. And we've got our positive. Now, it's important here, we're going to hook up a fuse so we can't destroy stuff. Alrighty. Now, we need to make a nice little connector for this. I don't want to cut that original wire off of there. Now, yes, I use crimp-on connectors, but they're basically junk. You can't rely on a crimp-on connection. So I take that part off, throw it away. Then I always solder this after I smash it on, and we're going to use this very nice, this is period correct bakelite connector, and I'm going to slide some shrink wrap on there. I'm going to actually put two pieces on. One will be big enough to cover the whole connector. Boy, that's so tight. Let me use three pieces, and that way we can make a nice job. Okay, we've got our shrink tube on first. then I'm not going to use the crimping tool. I'm going to use a pair of pliers here. Then we solder. This is a must. Mercedes solders every connector, and you want to do the same. You want to cool out before you slide your shrink tube on, or you won't have any success at all. Get this cooled here in my container of water next to my grinder. Okay. Okay. You got one and then a second one here, just because this connector, because it sticks out so far, it would leave this exposed. So we want a little bit of protection there. Okay, we're set up with a good fuse. Yeah. And our positive lead. Our negative goes to the ground. And they actually have a push-on connector here for it. Well, we know that something works in there. On-off works, volume works, but we aren't getting any no stations. So there's something wrong inside this unit. No stations. Oh, our antenna came out. There we go.
Seriously, it's all right here in one place.
Well, that was an easy fix.
Breakfast.
They're always breaking up.
We aren't getting much good AM. Let's try a cassette in here. Commander Cody! That dates me. And it's about half and half. Well, it doesn't seem to like that tape. Let's try a different one. Mind you, these tapes I recorded back in the 70s, 80s, so. Some blues. I can tell it doesn't like that either. These have been on the shelf for 30, 40 years. Well, chances are my tapes aren't any good. Yeah, but at least we know the radio works, the FM, which is the important part. Okay, I've tried a few other cassettes, but what is probably wrong, and this is what happens with these cassette players when they haven't been used for years. There's a drive belt. It's like a little rubber band in there. And what happens when it sits for a long time, that rubber gets kind of hard, and the drive motor has a very teeny pulley on it, and it'll just spin on that drive belt and it won't get anywhere. Or it may make the drive belt move somewhat, but there'll be a dead spot in the belt. Now, sometimes you can take them apart and put in another drive belt, but you're probably better off having a specialist perform that for you, because he'll probably have the correct drive belt.